We are back with dozens of stories ready to tell you that we have been editing during these weeks. We want to share them with you, but first, we are going to start with two very interesting stories from the book, Hidden Stories of the Hairy Hand, by Juan Ramon Saenz. A book that we had for a long time and just found now on a trip to the house where I grew up. The next tragic and terrible story is also real. You may have heard some of the details, and we carried out a special investigation to the last consequences. The story began 20 years ago when the members of a family gathered their savings, bought a plot on the outskirts of the city, and little by little they were building a house that consisted of 6 apartments, in which the parents and each of the 5 children, already married, settled. For some reason, the house was played with the Ouija, and from that day on, everything in it changed, and the members of the family began to feel bad. In the economic world, his position was gradually declining without the reason being known, and the health of his inhabitants was affected from nothing in particular. Over the years, things got worse and worse, but what worried the family the most was not knowing the origin of the radical change in their lives. In 2 decades, 5 members of the family died, inexplicably, and each time they presented themselves in each of the 6 departments, paranormal phenomena and diseases that these people had on the verge of despair. 3 of the 6 families that inhabited the house no longer slept, because, in some way, misfortune was more towards them and certain strange situations occurred to them more frequently than to others. And those situations were getting worse. They moved their beds when they slept, they threw the dishes out of the kitchen, shadows constantly appeared, and there remained an unbearable rotten smell, so they decided to move to another place, and half of the house was uninhabited. Convinced that everything that happened could be a direct consequence of them invoking something bad through the Ouija, and with the imperial need to regain peace in their lives, some days they requested the help of a priest, with the intention that he would celebrate some masses in the place, and thus free the house from that strange thing that was inside. Days later, a religious man from a nearby temple came to the house accompanied by a member of these families, but he stopped in the zaguan and exclaimed, "Here's something very bad and very powerful. I'm going to consult it with my superiors." He didn't go home. Weeks later, they took a witch who assured that she could free that place from any bad situation. Accompanied by her daughter of approximately 12 years, she began to make a clean. She detected that under the ladder that led to the first level, there was a dimensional door through which evil spirits penetrated, causing strange situations in the house. She also indicated that they were very strong, so she would have to perform several rites. When the first of the cleanses ended, as she collected her things and was about to leave, her daughter began to behave strangely. She had her gaze fixed. She did not answer her mother's calls while she went down the stairs, no matter how hard her mother tried to stop her. She did not listen to the gaze of several people who avoided the place, until suddenly the mother hit her in the face and made her react. When the girl came back to herself, she desperately began to cry and explained to her mother that a strange force, which for a moment seized her will, called her to go under the staircase. The witch then told those present that there was something superior to her gifts, and the best thing would be for them to look for another person to help them because she would not return. She took her daughter by the hand and left the house. Later I received a call from Carlos, a member of the family who told me the above. I proposed that they let us do an investigation, and the family accepted. 2 days later we left and, as is customary in these cases, we did not find the street, despite the fact that the driver of the truck knows the city and its surroundings well, as he goes to different points every day. It is curious that when we go to places where there are supernatural events, we do not know if the same thing happens or if we always find obstacles to get there. Parapsychologists say it's the way to process some energies when they find out they could be expelled. We finally got home. We went to a doctor in psychology who also has extensive knowledge of parapsychology, Master Soham, a man who has dedicated almost his whole life to the study of the supernatural world, Ignacio Munoz, one of my producers, and I. We received several members of the family. Carlos, the young man who contacted me, was still not coming from work, and so the investigation began. The parapsychologists, after asking some questions to the inhabitants, proceeded to carry out a recognition of the house. It was a 2-level construction with a wide area and in the background one of the 6 apartments. To the left, a staircase that led to the first level. Minutes later, the parapsychologists indicated to me that, precisely, under the staircase was a dimensional door where energies of various types and levels could be entering and leaving. The doctor indicated to me to stand under the staircase. A strange sensation was present in me at that point in the house. It was difficult to breathe. An impression of anguish and a slight cold passed through my body. Suddenly, strangely, I felt that they were nailing a needle in the center of my heart. I put my hand on my chest, and when I made a gesture of pain, the doctor asked me if something was happening to me. I replied that no, that maybe it was my nerves, but that pain and the feeling of having something stuck in my heart started to worry me, since I have never suffered from heart problems. Later I told Master Soham what was happening to me, and he proceeded to explore me energetically. He told me that I had a rod stuck in my chest and that a being of darkness had put it on me, and in a spiritual way he proceeded to remove it. Maybe it's hard to believe, but as soon as Master Soham did this, the pain disappeared. All this was recorded with a video camera by Ignacio, and incredibly, when reviewing the recording at the end of the case, we realized that when I felt the punch, the tape recorded that in my chest, at the height of the heart, there was a long spot that looked like a shadow. The funny thing is that when I moved and my arm passed several times through that point, the apparent shadow was underneath, and as we know, a shadow cannot be under another body interposed in front of it. Necessarily, it has to be reflected in it. We also noticed that after Master Soham removed the rod, the shadow disappeared in the video. These are 2 stories that are part of this compilation by Juan Ramon Saenz. They hold significant value. The next story will return to a compilation of tales that have been shared. Other supernatural situations await us, but with the help of God, we will overcome them. We hear each other very soon in Stories of the Night.